Okay, next week we're going to have a board meeting, and Betty's going to tell you about that.
Okay, I passed out a sheet to the directors and officers. On it, it's got the recipients of the awards. Next week, we will do the awards for Melvin Jones, Jack Weech, Texas Lions Foundation, and Line of the Year. Only board members can nominate and vote for these awards. The reason we passed them out today is so if you know of a director or a board member and you would like to have someone be considered for one of these awards, holler at them. Just a brief description of what they are. Melvin Jones, established in 1973, the fellowship is named for the founder of Lions Club International, Melvin Jones. It represents those attributes characteristic of individuals who are dedicated to humanitarian service, attributes such as generosity, compassion, and concern for others. The fellowship is the Lions Club's International Foundation's highest distinction. The Jack Weech Award, named after the first president of the Texas Crippled Children's Camp in Kerrville, and is awarded to a Texas Lion who embodies the best in Lionism. Fellowship is presented to a Lion or other individual for a personal contribution of $1,000, which we buy, as a tribute from the club, and is a primary means for the Texas Lions Camp to strengthen its financial base. The next one, Texas Lions Foundation Fellowship. The Texas Lions Foundation Fellowship Program is a primary means for TLF to strengthen its financial base. The fellowship is presented to a Lion or other individual for a contribution of $500. And then Line of the Year, that's, you know what that is. That's the person who, whoever we think is the most outstanding in dedication service for our club for the year. It's strictly our award, our club award. So anyway, we're going to vote on those. It'll be secret ballot next week, Tuesday at the board meeting. So if any of y'all need a sheet that's got the recipients on it, I have some extras here. Thank you.
And Gal's coming back.
I want to talk a little bit about the committees. Gail, could you tell us how the golf tournament turned out? How much money we made?
We took in $12,069 for the golf tournament so far. There could be a few checks straggling in, but I think that's pretty much it. So we did real well. Our expenses were $3,467 and some change. That's for payments to the golf course itself. It's for 4 of the team's cash winnings and some printing expenses. So we wound up with netting out $8,601 this year.
Okay, mop and broom. Bill, would you come and tell us about it?
Good morning. Mop and broom sale, April the 26th. That's 2 weeks and 1 day. That's 2 weeks and 1 day at the First State Bank. We'll run the sale from 8 o'clock until 3, or hopefully before that. I'm going to pass around a sign-up sheet. If you can come that day to help fill orders as well as deliver some mops and brooms, appreciate that. So I'll pass around a sign-up sheet. And we have a limited amount of order forms which you can pick up here on the front of this table. So keep working, and we'll make our budget on this thing, I think. Thank you.
Okay, Josh, do you want to introduce the CASA?
Today's presentation is by court-appointed special advocates, shortly known as CASA, and they're just going to explain their role and what they do for the community.
Hey! Yeah.
First, I want to thank you guys for letting me come talk to you and bend your ear about a problem here that we have statewide in Texas. As Josh said, we are court-appointed special advocates. My name is Maura Messer. I am the recruitment and training director for CASA of the Pines. Our program is a 3-county program, so we cover Polk County, Houston County, and Angelina County. Our mission is to speak up for children who are in foster care. So these are our children who have been abused and neglected, and they've been removed from their home. We are a fully volunteer-based program. I am staff. Deanna Grissom, who is handing you some information, she is also staff. She is our recruitment person here for you guys in Polk County. And I also brought Miss Carolyn Pickens with me today. She is an actual volunteer. So she is not paid, and our program advocates for children that are in foster care. And just to give you guys some numbers, because I'm a stats person, so I like to hear, exactly what the problem is. And here in Texas, our child population is 7,500,272 children, and this was in 2017. And of that number, that 7,295,485 reports of child abuse and neglect were received in Texas. As a result of these reports, 172 children died in Texas in 2017 at the hands of child abuse and neglect. So as much as we would like to believe that it's not something that happens here, it is. I also have some Polk County information for you guys. So in 2017, the child population in Polk County was 9,881 children. Of that, there were 443 completed investigations, and there were 167 confirmed cases of child abuse and neglect here in Polk County in 2017. Fortunately, you guys did a really good job, and there were no child deaths in Polk County in 2017. So that's something to be extremely proud of for y'all. With that said, those numbers in 2018 are headed up, unfortunately. So what we do as a CASA program is when children are removed from their homes in foster care, they're given a CPS worker. And a little bit of background about myself. I was actually a Child Protective Services worker for 5 years in the Nacogdoches area. And I was in the unit that dealt with children in foster care. So some of the things that I can tell you about being a CPS worker is that I was responsible, when I left my caseload, I had 67 children that I was responsible for seeing to make sure that they were safe in foster homes with relatives in other places. The beauty of the CASA program is that we are volunteer-based, so when you volunteer for this program, each child receives one CASA. So that CASA worker has the time and the energy to devote to this child specifically to make sure that all of their needs are being met, whereas a CPS worker may have 67 children that they're responsible for. We are appointed by the judge, and they give us the rights and responsibilities for the information needed to advocate for these children and to make sure that changes are being made where they need to be made. It is a wonderful program. As a CPS worker, I relied on the CASA workers a lot. As a CASA, I can tell you there's nothing better than making a difference in a child's life. There are currently about 60 children in Polk County that are in foster care at this moment. And I can tell you that not every child in foster care has a CASA at volunteer at this time. The casework supervisor in this area is Carrie Speed, and she does a fabulous job, but not every child in Polk County in this moment has a volunteer. The volunteer process is that you would meet with me. We do a pre-service interview, and we talk about the time commitment because it is a year-long commitment. You go through a 30-hour training. Not all of it is with me, but 12 hours you get to spend with me face-to-face, learning about the foster care system. And then you are sworn in by the judge, and you are given a child at that point to advocate for in court. So it's a wonderful program, and there's more information that's left on your tables. Polk County is one of our counties that is definitely in need of some volunteers. There are children out there that don't have someone to speak up for them directly, and we would definitely like to see you guys help in this way. We do also some fundraising. That would be a great opportunity for us to partner with you guys. And I'm going to introduce Deanna Grissom, and she's going to tell you more about why you want to be a Polk County CASA, and it's not optional when she talks. So I'm going to have her come up and tell you a little bit more about what she's doing in this area.
Hi, first let me say it's an honor and a privilege to be here, and it's even more of an honor and a privilege to work with CASA. I grew up in Livingston, went to school in Livingston, left Livingston, came back about 20 years ago, and worked for special services, Polk County Special Services, for about 17 years. And in the interim, one of my jobs was to audit the folders that every special ed student came in with. They had a folder, and I had to make sure everything was in there. And the longer I worked there, the bigger the folders, the sadder the incidents. And I was sitting there crying before the day was over. And I said repeatedly, why doesn't somebody do something? Where is everybody? Why is this happening? This is not New York. This is not California. This is Livingston, Texas. Well, I'm a CASA. And it makes all the difference in the world. I got into it because I thought I was helping each and every child. But let me tell you, I got and get as much out of it as they do. You're the one constant in their life. They may have 6 or 7 CPS caseworkers over the course of their stint in foster care. They have one CASA. They grow to trust that CASA. They know if the CASA says they're going to be there, they're going to be there. They talk with them, they visit with them, and they become the voice of that child that normally there's not a face. There is such a need, I can't even begin to tell you. It sounds at sometimes that it's just impossible to meet all the needs that there are in Polk County. Being a CASA maybe would take you 12 hours a month, most maximum, to be a CASA. You visit the child once a month, and then you check on the phone with the foster care or if they're in family care. You have the option to go to school, have lunch with them, visit with their teachers. You know the child. You know the child's needs. And when you stand before the judge, you tell him your investigation. You tell them what you heard, what you saw, and more importantly, what that child said to you. It's a very worthwhile cause, and I would encourage every one of you, if you have the time, please look into it. I would be happy to talk with you. This is April, which is a big month for our CPS, CASA, all of us. And I will be visiting most of the churches in Polk County with more information on some of the things that we're doing. One of them is called Blue Sunday. It's always the last Sunday in April. All we're doing is asking you to pray for the children that are neglected and abused. And not just the children, but the CPS caseworkers, the CASAs, the foster parents, all those involved. So if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. Would love to talk to you. I love to talk about CASA. So just give us a call, and we'll be happy to meet with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to put her on the spot.
I don't think I'm shy. I just want to say it's probably one of the most rewarding things I've ever done in my life. I have 2 cases right now, and I tell my husband every day that I want to bring them all home, because you would not believe what transpires in different situations. So I would just encourage you to pray about it, tell others about it, about the need. You've heard the stats, and that's pretty much it.
Thank you.
I'm gonna just say something real quick. Some of you don't know this. My wife, who is a godsend to me, was used to lead me to the Lord. The greatest pastor's wife a pastor could ever hope for. Mother to my 5 children. Grew up in a very horrible place. Was in foster care. There was only one person that she could always depend on during that time, and that was her CASA. That was there for her every step of the way. And it's a very worthwhile program. It's very near and dear to my heart. And if you ever get an inkling about wanting to help, just think about the way you can impact one person's life. My family, for generations, is forever changed because of one person who was willing to volunteer and be there for my wife in probably the worst time of her life. And so thank you guys. I appreciate you, and I hope that you would consider what they presented today.
Okay, this meeting is now adjourned.
Well, Petey got a long way to go. We'll work her in. They get it. Training wheels.
What's that famous word Benny said? Slow down, Elfriede.
The best part.
Yeah. We got money on that horse.
When you got our money, then you get in a hurry, huh?
You checking your white tickets, Art? Yeah. Check your white tickets.
No white tickets, Mike.
We got 40 of them.
They all have to be red. I forgot my glasses. 7346.